So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So as you see, AmeriCorps is a national service organization, and this presentation will just kind of go through some of the history of AmeriCorps and kind of tell you what your roles are as you join this program. There are about 18 programs in Georgia. We are one of the, and it's very competitive every year. So the ones who have been chosen to be funded have been ones that's proven to be effective. You don't get funded just because. It is a lot of programs that do not get refunded. So we are pretty proud of the progress we've made. This is a 6th year. This is our 7th year. Oh, yes, 7th year running team. And every year we pretty much reach our goal above and beyond. So we're pretty proud to be one of AmeriCorps' national service sites that they have chosen to continue this work. Oh, right. Okay. So, what is national service? So we have returners in here. So can someone kind of explain what you already know about AmeriCorps and kind of how it came about? How is it national service? You know, this is a state program, but can you tell me a little about what you already know about the national service mandates as an AmeriCorps member? Anyone, returners?
Yes, it's kind of like there's a nationwide need of people serving the community, so we have different programs to address different issues that apply local, but they're a statewide kind of thing.
Exactly. Key thing is we do address local needs. So of course there are national needs. A national need here is education, period. All of you probably have heard of the academic achievement gap amongst students that has been just prevalent forever since the founding of the education system here. So one of the always will be standing need, most likely, in America will be education. So we fall under that grant here. Well, how does Alonzo A. Krim Center and Team AmeriCorps fit into national service? Well, Alonzo A. Krim Center is a nonprofit organization that addresses education as well as various others. And so Alonzo Krim Center actually addresses the national need for education through various programs. And just one of them will be Team AmeriCorps, which is Team AmeriCorps. We also have Jumpstart, which is an AmeriCorps program. And then we have other programs that are not funded by AmeriCorps, but all of the programs within the center are partners with each other. So Team can partner with AHA, Team can partner with Jumpstart, Team can partner with Early College. Those become our partners as we serve, and that's how we fit into the national service. So what is AmeriCorps? It is the domestic Peace Corps. Raise your hand if you've heard of Peace Corps. Great. Can someone give me a little details about what Peace Corps is and how you think it's similar to AmeriCorps? Well, let's start with Peace Corps. Give me a little detail on Peace Corps, what you know already. Crystal.
Peace Corps, from what I know, is a program. It's a 2-year program where you go and you do service in another country, probably like a third world country, and you or different cities such as Africa or somewhere, and you go there and you pretty much are working communities with whatever, like AmeriCorps, but whatever they have you doing locally in that city, you go there. You go. It's a 2-year like contract. So it's a non-national program.
Exactly. Yeah. That becomes your home wherever they place you. We actually had an AmeriCorps member who served, I think, 3 or 4 terms with us, who went to Peace Corps. They placed him in Guinea. He actually had to come back when the Ebola virus hit. It actually hit his community that he was in. He's fine. No scare. But so he's waiting to get stationed back, not knowing if they're going to station him back. But that's a great description of what Peace Corps is, and AmeriCorps is basically the local version. Some AmeriCorps programs do house their individuals. I think we have 2 state programs where they do room and board and everything, so it's like a 24-hour thing. But of course, with ours and other AmeriCorps programs, you are committed for that 10 months, but you're free to go home every now and then. You know, you're not slaving for us. So she described Peace Corps. It was originated in 1960, and exactly what she said, they go international to do the service. Here you're doing local service. And AmeriCorps they call, and it's just very common to hear it called the domestic Peace Corps. You have decided to join a national movement, which is similar to the Peace Corps, for provide service to American citizens. In particular, you are joining AmeriCorps State, which serves within Georgia. So AmeriCorps State is very different from 3 other branches of AmeriCorps, which is VISTA, and they have a senior corps. They also have one more, like NCC. I never know what it stands for, but there are several different ones. You are the state. So when you're signing your paperwork today, just know anytime it asks you, well, which kind of AmeriCorps you are, make sure you remember it's the state. You're not a VISTA or any of the other ones. So here's the national language for national service, and it's very important. I know it's like a little minute for us to talk about the language of it, but it's extremely important because when the commission comes out, they definitely expect you as well as the host teachers and the site supervisors to use the correct language. And that's important because, like I said, all of these contracts, entities, and all of that, people get it twisted. You know, you can call you a worker. No, you don't work for them, you serve. And that's different because you have a stipend, you don't have a paycheck. And that is significant because you're actually a paid volunteer. So you're doing service. So there are certain rights that you have or rights that you don't have because you are a serviceman or woman. So here's some of the language. We are not hiring you. So just excuse me if I ever use the language. I mean, I'm human. But we are enrolling you as an AmeriCorps member. So you're not being hired by Georgia State University. It's a little different here with Georgia State University because, trust me, they would prefer us to just pay you. But we can't, we're on a campus. So your stipend is funneled through their system. You're technically, on paper, a Georgia State employee, but please understand, you do not hold the same rights as a faculty, staff, or any other type of employee. They make a special exception for you. We went through legal process for months. So they make it extremely clear, we do not want you to get an ID. We do not want you to get an ID and then trying to go to games or go to the rec center or, you know, just different random stuff. Yeah, we don't want you to do that. So don't think they're just being funny. It's just, you know, technicalities. And they're being gracious enough to allow us to use their system. So we really, really beg you all not to abuse the privilege that they're giving us of actually funneling through them. So although you can get an ID, we ask you not to do so. Although you can, unless you're a student. Now, those who are students, you all have the rights as a student. So that doesn't trump anything. You being an employee at Georgia State does not trump it. Also, while I mention that, if you work for Georgia State, make sure you let us know as well, because you're technically not a new hire. So that too, let me throw that out there. If you've worked for Georgia State within a year, let me know, because you won't be a new hire. So this is not a job, it's service. You're not getting a paycheck, you get a living allowance or a living stipend. You don't have a pay period, you have a disbursement period. No salary, living allowance, wage, living allowance. You're not a volunteer, you're actually a member, because volunteers do not get paid. So when people ask you, don't say I'm an employee of T.E.A.M, say I am an AmeriCorps member. And I'll call you member and everyone else will call you member. And so forth. The job site is not that's not where you're working, or that's not your job site, that's your service site. And then the other language you'll see in our presentation about T.E.A.M, but you have a site supervisor and a host teacher. And some of you all will be in schools, some of you all will be with organizations. We do have one full-time member who will be with a steam truck. So it's a bit different how we serve. But either way, you're serving science or math in a school or with a school. Okay. You won't be doing anything too much outside of that. And sorry I couldn't give you your placement before you came. I'm gonna let you off. I'm still looking at where you stay and trying to figure out what's the best site for you all. And just for the record, it is not pronounced AmeriCorps. It's pronounced AmeriCorps. No S on the end. And you'll hear people call us teams. It's not teams, it's team. So it's okay for you to correct them. Tell them I told you to. So they can get it right. So how did AmeriCorps take on its current form? So this kind of explains all the great, there's the National Direct, that's what it's called. So that kind of explains to you what's the whole format of AmeriCorps. And then here, this should say Georgia. Clearly I didn't reinvent the wheel. Just act like it says Georgia. But this is what we're under, Georgia, and then we're in the CREM Center, which is the whole site. And then it's you, and then you're serving. So that's just a breakdown. It's important whenever you're working for, serving for an organization, that you know kind of the hierarchy or the way it is structured. All right, and so here is how the structure goes. Remember I said all those 15,000 entities that you work for, so that you serve for. Here is a breakdown of everyone who you are basically representing. So first and foremost, you're representing the National Community Service Organization, Corporation. Then they gave Georgia some funding, which gave Alonzo a CREM Center funding, which then we reached out to a service site because they had to match the funding from the National Community Service Corporation. And then there's you, and you are a part of 18 other programs that have members just like you doing different services. So just for you, for the sake of you understanding, because we do already have some people that know your site because you actually came through your site. That's how you ended up here today. You actually report to T.E.A.M. You report to us. Although some sites will act like they are your employer, not even service site, they will act like they are your employer. You do not report to them. They do not give you a check. None of the above. They sign a contract with us, so be sure that you feel comfortable with coming to us about your experience. Of course, we would like you to comply with whatever that culture is asking you to do to fit in, but be sure that you understand if you are feeling uncomfortable at your site, if you're confused about your service, if you have any questions about hours, if you have any questions about direct service, you know, if they have you fetching water for your service and you're like, man, I'm supposed to get coffee every morning, what's going on? Let me know. No, that's not direct service and you shouldn't be doing that. And I have no problems whatsoever going to the site, speaking to the site supervisor so they can be clear. Because at the end of the day, whatever service you're doing should directly correlate to the outcomes that we're looking for. And getting coffee doesn't. I mean, it'll wake them up, but they can do that on their own. All right, so the host agency recruits, that's us, the host agency. What we are charged to do is recruit, train, and enroll you all, and then place you at the sites. Full-time members do 1,700 hours. You may see the number 1710 here and there. It's 1,700 hours. They say 1710 because they're trying to push you to make sure you go. Trust me, you'll get more than 1,700 hours serving with us. You can believe that. And part-time is 900 hours, and usually they get more. How many hours did you serve last year? 11. Woo! Man, sure you served that. 1,100 hours as a part-time. So you'll get the hours. It won't be, it's just because our summer programs are pretty all-encompassing. We have a lot of service days throughout the year. We don't really go by what hours you're at. So if you're like, oh, I hit my hours this month, I think I'm going to chill out. Yeah, this is not the program. Because what we do is we see what are the needs, who are our partners. I look at the service days. Will you all enjoy it? I definitely look for team building days. If something pops up and I think it's something super dope where you all would like to go and participate, I'll put it on the calendar. You all would know in advance, of course, but I definitely don't go by, oh yeah, they have all of their hours, so we won't do that. No, it's just not that type of program. Every single hour must be fulfilled in order to get your benefits. The members must perform the full number of hours. After successful completion, you are granted your Ed Award, and you'll find out more information about that. And please, by all means, look up these things on the AmeriCorps site. Read through all the information for yourself. There are stipulations with the Ed Award, but there are also benefits that you get with the Ed Award. So definitely do the research on that just to know what you're eligible for. Oh, I thought I deleted this. All right, so this is encouraging you to be a lifelong civic leader. I won't read this, but basically we don't want you just to serve here at T.E.A.M. We want you to think of yourself as as developing into a lifelong serviceman and woman or woman. Even when you get off into your jobs, your careers, you know, your presidencies, your CEO positions, all of these different things in the future, always have in your mind that there is service that's needed. Really, I tell people there's no other reason why you're on earth. You can't be on earth just to make money and buy things. That was kind of created in this world in this little thing called capitalism. So without capitalism, if you move that aside, what are you really here for? And you're here to contribute to the circle of life. So with that circle of life, that's what we call service. So whatever your talents are, even if you don't go to be a teacher, you know, you should always teach something. In all of your interviews and all of your feedback from you all have life experiences that are extremely valuable. You're in this child's life, so always think, how can I share my world with this child to help this child get where they want to go? That's how you really should take this role on. And you may sometimes feel like you can't relate to some of them. They probably sometimes will just act funny, especially middle and high schoolers, because they're like grown babies. But there is something that you can contribute to their lives. So make sure you think of yourself as a service person. All right, so primarily direct service along with capacity building. So these are streams of service to address unmet community needs. And a lot of times, especially with STEM, which is the area that we focus in, there is a vast need in urban schools for STEM educators. Unfortunately, a lot of the schools are not even very familiar with STEM. So you generally don't even really get to the STEM programming until around January, February, if you ever get to it. But it's still valuable to have individuals in their worlds who are science majors, math majors, things that are related to that. Because a lot of times they think, if you say a scientist, what image do you think most children see?
Somebody in the chemistry room.
Somebody in the chemistry room. Give me more description of that person.
Lab coat.
Huh?
Someone in the lab coat.
In the lab coat. In the chemistry lab, lab coat. How do they look? Crazy hair, glasses. What age? Old, like dirt old. Just like, oh, you gotta be old to be a scientist. And it's the same for mathematicians too. You say mathematicians, you're like, oh, they must be the ones with calculators and proof. I'm like, no, you know, you have people that look just like you who are scientists, who are mathematicians, who are in the sciences. And science is not just in the lab. There are other sciences like agriculture, anthropology, things of that nature, you know. So that's the need. It's more over than just going in to save the babies. They don't know math and science. No, it's offering all of these different things. The fact that all of you all went to a university or a college, you know, that is a need for them to see that. Because what image do you think they see as a college student? Oof, I'm scared to even ask. Never mind. Well, what image did you think when you were younger? I don't know what they would think these days. I've been to a tour on campus, but they see, well, I used to see the Huxtables, you know, like, or not the Huxtables, a different world, you know. It's like, I don't know what I thought. They have a college sweater on, like, yeah, you know, they're all cool, you know, stuff like that. They don't really see college students as working individuals with goals, who's someone like Crystal, who's been here, there, everywhere, you know, from another country, speak another language. They don't see these things as college students. They see, like, you know, oh, we're going to a party in the frat house or the sorority house. So it's good for them to see you as well in that light. AmeriCorps members also recruit and mobilize community volunteers. A lot of times that kind of drop off because we get so engulfed in the work. But we definitely are trying to go a little bit hard this year with bringing in volunteers to work with us in the community. So all of you all are mandated to invite at least 2 to 3 people throughout the 10-month period to volunteer for at least 5 hours. And they can do that on the weekend service, during our national service days, during the summertime, or even at your site. But you have to make sure you clear them through your site, because a lot of different sites have different stipulations on background checks when they volunteer for more than 3 hours. You do not have a clerical or secretary role, and you definitely don't have an administrative assistant role, which means no coffee or water fetching. And now some of you all will be enrolled, especially with the raising expectations, where you're supporting with lesson planning, data collection, things of that nature, but that's directly connected to your direct service, so you're good. But if it just becomes like 80% of your service is creating data or calling parents, no, that's too much. So you definitely want to let us know. Never replace existing employees, so schools cannot be like, oh, we're not going to hire teachers, we're going to hire all AmeriCorps members. We've had that happen in the past. Yeah, so I have vast experience with that, and that didn't go too well. Just act like this, that's Georgia again. AmeriCorps State Administration in Georgia, AmeriCorps State is administered by the governor appointed body. It's the same thing pretty much for all the states. All right. All right, so a little question and answer. You've heard the big picture of national service. How are you not an employee? Can someone tell me, how are you not an employee?
You don't receive a wage.
You don't receive a wage. Yes. Any other ways you're not an employee?
You're just like a paid volunteer, so yeah.
Yes, you're like a paid volunteer, you get a little allowance.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Here's this allowance for you this month. How are you not a volunteer?
We get money.
Because you get money. And so what are you if you're not an employee or a volunteer?
Member.
You're a member. Oh man, where are my prizes? Stickers, y'all do stickers? I still do stickers. I'm
On the back.
I still do stickers.
Self-hug.
So this is our wonderful, Nikki's not here, but she's coming back this year. She's so sweet. The AmeriCorps members, the hands-on national service, they ask you all to take a pledge. I'm not a fan of putting your hand over your heart and pledging your life to anything, but this is what they would like for you to pledge for the year. I will get things done for America to make our people safer, smarter, and healthier. Do I sound convincing? I will bring Americans together to strengthen our communities. Faced with apathy, I will take action. Faced with conflict, I will seek common ground. Faced with adversity, I will preserve. I will carry this commitment with me this year and beyond. I think for the most part, I love the faced with apathy, I will take action. Many times in your sites, you will be faced with a lot of different things. And sometimes you'll get micromanagers, which some people like. I don't necessarily like them. Sometimes you will get macromanagers, which sometimes I like, sometimes I don't, because I like feedback, like a lot of you all do. I like feedback to know, am I doing good? And I definitely don't want you to react and just act like I have been doing nothing when I get something wrong. So it's what I can propose that you do is always think to take initiative and take action. Improve instruction or how to improve an activity, go ahead and say so. It does not hurt. We are training the site as well throughout the year, so we let them know you're qualified, you're trained. We tell them how many of you all have degrees, what your degrees are in, your experiences, so you're not treated like just the helper, which is important to us because a lot of times that's exactly what happens. They don't quite know what your experience level is. It can sometimes feel a little condescending. You know, you just have to remember, they don't really know your background, they don't really know you. So the best thing I can tell you is really get to know your sites and your site supervisor. Share your role with them. Just like you share in your interviews, share your role with them so they can know. So they won't just assume that you don't know some things. All right, so here are the requirements for pre-service. Of course, you have to be a citizen. And what would be the rationale behind requiring that you are a citizen to serve in AmeriCorps? What do you think the rationale behind it? And this really, and although you may think it does not affect a lot of people, there are a lot of students who are in school here but are not citizens. And a lot of them come through wanting to serve. But you have to be a citizen of America to serve. Why?
Because AmeriCorps is a state.
Say it again.
It's a state, it's AmeriCorps or American.
Even higher is state, but then
The federal government's funding it?
exactly, it's federally funded. And I always remember that. This is a federally funded program, so there are prohibited activities. There are things we cannot do while you are serving. You cannot lobby. You cannot have your AmeriCorps shirt on and go vote and say who you voted for. Although you can vote as an AmeriCorps member, you cannot wear your shirt and go vote. And definitely never, ever, ever, if you are in the midst of anything that is popping off and a cameraman say, hey, what do you think about it? If you have an AmeriCorps shirt on, just please, either just, I plead the fifth, or, pull your AmeriCorps shirt up or something. Just do not ever get caught in media with your AmeriCorps shirt on, unless it's talking something great about AmeriCorps and what you do. Please, okay. So it's federally funded again. So also, you cannot work on another federally funded grant while you're an AmeriCorps member. A lot of people don't know that either, because then you're kind of double dipping. Yes.
For that one, is that individually or like with a group? Like if you want to apply for a grant individually for school, does that apply? And it's federally funded.
Let me double check. I don't think that's the case, because a lot of AmeriCorps members get Pell Grants and things of that nature. But I do believe you have to just check your funding sources if you work for various nonprofits, and they will know. Most people, if they find out you're an AmeriCorps member, they'll let you know, like, we can't hire AmeriCorps members. But let me double check that. Good question, excellent question. It also requires you to have a high school diploma or GED, or state that they will obtain one before they draw their education award. Why do you think that is the case? Believe it or not, some AmeriCorps programs have hired people without diplomas or GEDs. Because it's a tutoring program. Oh, everybody can tutor. Anyone can tutor 5-year-olds. So why do you think you have to have a diploma or GED? Anybody?
It shows qualification.
Qualification?
Because you have to get that to go to college to use your education for it.
Exactly. So definitely shows qualification for us, because our requirements, unlike a lot of them, are that you have majors in certain things, certain areas, and that you're at least, that we try to do at least senior in college, and so forth. But you definitely, before you get your Ed Award, you must have shown that, you know, you can qualify for that. What can happen is people get the Ed Award and just try to cash out, and it's like, no, you have to send it to tuition or loans. Sorry. No cashing out with the Ed Award. You must be in general 17 years or older. And a couple of the sections, we have 16-year-olds who have various qualifications where they're good. For this program, that's probably not going to happen, because then they're going to high school and the kids are like, what? I'm listening to you. They're like my sister. Background checks, this is extremely important. You must sign a written agreement to run checks, which you all will do so today. The checks run through a CNCS approved state criminal history registry check, which is the reason why some of you all, we had you scheduled last week to do checks. We found out that they're not CNCS approved anymore, so we had to change vendors. So now we found one, thankfully. And so you all will be doing criminal background checks this week prior to coming here, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And we'll give you all the times and the names and all of that stuff today before you leave. And you'll definitely know, and we'll email you too, just so you can be confirmed. So you must have those. So, and what the checks are, we check GBI, which is Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and FBI, which is federal. And we have to go back more than 7 years. And we also have to do a national sex offender check as well before you all can serve. Until you all have gone through that check, you cannot log hours. So today does not count for hours, but as soon as you get your go for the background check, which they won't give you the results, but you're good as long as you go for it, then you can begin to log your hours. I just went through that. All right. Just went through that. Great. So eligible for employment, you must be eligible for employment here, which is have a citizen. You know, you have to give all your paperwork in for the new hire. Everything that's associated with the new hire, you must be able to present. Right. So of course you still are contingent. Yes, you are. You have been invited. You are not yet enrolled until we enroll you, and that's after we do all of the different paperwork that you have to do, which you will get done today. And upon your background, upon you going to get your background check and us getting cleared, so you will know if you're cleared that day, but they just won't give you the paperwork. But they will give you a form to say that you have been checked and you are eligible for employment, kind of thing. And that form you bring back to us. And then after that, they send us a letter about your eligibility. So once that is done, then we will enroll you. You will receive the email so that you can go on My AmeriCorps, which technically then you begin to establish your account. And for those of you all who are serving with us or serving another term, you are familiar with that. And then you enroll electronically. So it's kind of two ways you're going to enroll. By hand, you know, on hard copy, and then on the internet, on the computer. And just to go over the accompaniment a little bit, so technically all of you all are accompanied until our agency gives us your results. So an accompaniment means that you are working under a host teacher who has gone through their background checks at their entity, so you're good. And you must always be accompanied by your host teacher, especially in these first like 3 weeks. So be like little swans. I mean, the little babies behind the teacher. Don't let them go out. They'll say, well, can you just watch the class real quick? I'm gonna write. No, I really can't let you do that. Just walk behind them, seriously, because it never fails. As soon as the teacher go out to the bathroom, somebody take something and throw across the room, or that's their time to get up and get their vengeance or whatever, you know. And they know you're not going to do anything, and then it's a problem. And it's like, I don't know what happened. I just turned around and his head was bleeding. And then it's like, okay, where was the teacher? Well, they was just going to the bathroom. Guess who was going to be at fault at the end of the day? Who are they going to take up for, the teacher or you? Don't be scared. They won't be scared. They'll be like, I left him in charge. Yeah, the teacher will be taken up for it before you will. Trust me. All right, so member responsibilities. To earn your Ed Award, you must satisfactorily complete your program requirements, meaning, so satisfactory, that's attendance, compliance with applicable rules. Every AmeriCorps program has its own rules. We have our own, which we will go through those with your contract so you will know. It may also indicate positive behavioral elements such as positive attitude, respect towards others. We do midterm evaluations and final evaluations, and we do consider your attitude, your initiative, things of that nature. You are here to serve. So this is a bit more of a commitment than working for someone. Because when you work for someone, you kind of can come in however you want to come in. You know, if you're having a bad day, guess what? As long as I do my job, I can have a bad day. If I can talk to you however I want to talk to you. Not when you're serving. When you're having a bad day, you better do some Wusan. There's a meditation app, you know, called Center. You know, you can download that and do you a 3-minute meditation before you come in, and you come in on. And I mean on with a smile, at least half of it. And, you know, I tell members, if they get too frustrated, go out to your car, go to the restroom, do something, but do not show your frustration, especially when you're working with children. They're little sensitive souls, and they're like, she don't like me, and I don't, you know, it's like, okay, she's just having a bad day. She's hungry, I don't know. And your full term of service. And like I said, not 1 hour short. Your contract, which you all will see, you'll be asked to sign your contract, which states what kind of member you are and how many hours that you will be serving. You will see our suspension and termination policies. We hardly ever have to exercise the suspension and termination, but we do have to keep our sites in mind, our students in mind, so if necessary, we will utilize it. So start and end date. As you serve, 80% of your hours is direct service, which is your during the week service and weekend service. That's your direct service. And up to 20% of your hours will be training. And we do a lot of training, especially for full-timers. We train every Friday where you leave your site at noon and you're asked to be here by 1 o'clock, and we train up to up to 5 sometimes. Usually it doesn't go up to 5, but just expect to be here to 5. Raising expectations, that may be a little different from my raise your hand if you're raising expectations. Okay, that may be a little different for you all because they have their own type of training that they've agreed. I've agreed that it's kind of correlates with ours. But if we ever need you all to come to a training, we'll let you know. And they'll know, so you won't have to worry about them not knowing. And we also can only do 10% for fundraising. And fundraising, it has to be directly connected to a service day that we're doing or some type of service that you're doing at your site. And I have to approve it, so you have to kind of let me know what this fundraising is, and I have to approve what it is. You know, you can't have a bikini car wash for the babies. You know, no. I know to raise money, a whole lot of it probably, but you can't, no, we won't approve that. Or a beer drinking contest, you know, or any of those random things. And for the most part, it's important for you to know the 20 and the 10. You know, we can't go over the 20%. So whatever the 20% of your 1,700, we already have not, we make sure in your calendar we're not doing more than 20% that's training. Because then you're not technically doing enough direct service hours. Yes.
So if it's like, so it's all right if you got 90 to 100% direct service, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we usually get 150% direct service. Just warning, okay. Disclaimer, you're gonna serve with team.
I'll just make sure.
It's very important that timesheets be accurate, completed, and that they be signed and dated by you, the member, and the site supervisor and or the program director, depending on your host site policy. So we do have a timesheet for you all. It must be signed by the site supervisor. It does not include weekend hours, but for the most part, we want to make sure we have your weekday hours. It doesn't include weekend hours because actually if you serve on the weekend, that's a different form, unless you're serving with us. And then we'll have a sign-in sheet that account for your service. But if it's with another entity, then yes, there is another form that they have to sign just to verify that they are, one, a nonprofit 501c3. No, you cannot go and serve at your auntie restaurant for the weekend so she don't have to pay somebody. No, that's not service. So we make sure it's 501c3. They're not making profit off you, and that is that you actually did the hours that you did. So the member living allowance stipend, you will be informed in the contract about that. It'll give you more details, so I won't go into it. The Ed Award, you'll also get more information about the Ed Award. And it definitely depends on your slot. And for my returners, your Ed Award differs depending on how many service years you've done. So I know Jumpstart is minimum time, so you still have, you know, you just have to calculate it. For the most part, you can only get 2 full-time worth of Ed Awards. So however you mix and match that, as long as it does not exceed 2 full-time Ed Award payments, basically. So you may have done a minimum time, you may have did part-time, and then you did a full-time. And if you go over, you may be serving full-time and still only get a part-time Ed Award, depending on how many hours you've served already with AmeriCorps. Any questions on that?
What's considered full-time?
So the full-time is the 1,700 stipend. That's the 5,675, I think.
So if you got like 1,000, something that's part-time.
You did what kind of, were you minimum time? Yeah, so you technically have, boy, you have to do my math now. Y'all mathematicians in here. Hold on. So 2 minimum time will be a part-time. So you technically have like a full-time, I don't know. Y'all was like, I'm not about to get it wrong. I'll check it out and tell you how many, but you have plenty left. Like this year, what are you, part-time, right?
Yeah. So
you'll get your full Ed Award this year, for sure. You almost got me. Ed Award. So members age 55 plus at the time of enrollment may transfer their awards to certain qualified relatives. We have had that happen before, where if you want to serve and you're not in school, you don't have any loans, you can transfer it to your immediate family. So in your member contract, we will go over your standards of conduct. I'm a little picky and hard on members about their conduct. That's because you're representing us, you're representing yourselves, you're representing educators, you're representing wonderful scientists and mathematicians, so we can't have you just out and about acting up. You will get your list of prohibited activities. This is a drug-free, I should say service place. I didn't put that. But anyway, this is a drug-free work service place. So no, you can't have that glass of wine before you come. Just wait till you get home. You all are considered a representative of national service. I think I've said that a million times. It is especially important that you never claim service hours for activities that are not allowed, and this could lead to revoking of your Ed Award. So, FYI, no football games of your school are not eligible. Some of you all will be placed at high schools. You will become very close to your students. They will love you. Can you go to my game? But you can go to their game. You can have a whole lot of fun, but you cannot log that as your service hours. Period. I don't care if you do have your team shirt on. You cannot log that as service hours. Now, If they're playing a game and you are tutoring somebody in the bleachers, which is probably not going to happen, and you're going to have to get the principal to say you did and all type of stuff, then you can log those hours. But no, you can. We do encourage you all to build rapport with your students. Go out when they ask you to go out. If you get close to them and you're a basketball player, football player, whatever, and you feel like you can contribute to their skills or whatever, yes, go play basketball with them. Do all those things, but please do not log your hours and then write your weekly report. Went to the football game. No, I've had it happen. So compelling circumstances. If you have to end your service before the term is over, there are certain situations where you can still get your ed award, and that is compelling circumstances. You will see in your contract what those things are, and I advise that you look up information about what compelling personal circumstances are. Now, we don't want you to just plan too tough on having a compelling circumstance, so don't look it up and say, oh yeah, it is me. No, we really want you to serve with us for 10 months. I think I beat that like a dead horse in your interviews. But compelling, if you do have a death in the family, say your mother or father passed away, your child, whatever, something like that happens, or if you have to move, I hate that it does that. Oh. Okay. If you have to move because of, maybe your husband got a job or you are deployed or something like that, then that's compelling circumstances and you may be able to get your ed award. We do have suspensions and termination situations, but we will go over what that is. And release for cause, this basically gives you the leeway to actually be able to serve again. If you do have a compelling circumstance and you're released, then you can serve again. It's satisfactory. You may can get your ed award. If it's just release for cause, meaning you got a job or you just didn't feel like serving anymore or whatever, then we have the autonomy to tell the commission whether you served satisfactory or didn't serve satisfactory, and then you are not eligible for an award, even if you were a great member, unfortunately. But if we ever have to say you did not serve satisfactory, then you will be officially in the AmeriCorps site as not eligible to serve for AmeriCorps, period. So we really try to not ever be in that situation because there are many, many AmeriCorps programs and you never want to really have, a ban on you for not serving satisfactory. We do have a grievance procedure that correlates with Georgia State's, so we'll go over that. We'll also go over your civil rights. All of these different things will be in your contract. So the enrollment form, once you have provided all of your paperwork and done everything you need to do, including what do you have to have before you enroll? Background check. So you have to have done that. Then you are officially enrolled. And so we just are mandated to do that within 30 days of your service. And again, you do that on paper and electronically through e-grants. So you all are responsible full-time members. This kind of does not apply to you because you're full-time. So, but if you do have a different schedule than like 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, which is usual, like raising expectation, I think you all start at 10 and then you work later into the evening, then we do need to know what your service hours are, and we put that in the system so that when the commissioners are ready to come out, they know what time to go out there to visit you. And Ms. Turner, who is our coordinator, will come out for site visits. If you want to schedule a special site visit with her just to talk about certain things or to maybe get feedback or things of that nature, you can schedule that with her. But for the most part, she'll do drop-ins at least bi-weekly. For the first month or so, it'll probably be weekly that she'll come in just to talk to you all and the site supervisor. So in bold, in addition to these hours, there may be periodic, mandatory, evening, and weekend AmeriCorps activities. All service hours must be verified by the program director. So we may, like I said, we may have evening activities where we plan, especially in the spring. Georgia State usually has a lot of great activities for team building, like movie screenings and things of that nature. I'll definitely be asking you all to come out to that. You will be able to log service hours, but that's just a great opportunity to get hours and team build at the same time, because you all are so separated. Aww. Then when you come together, it's like, oh, I haven't seen you. So, yeah, I feel bad for y'all sometimes.
Oh, no.
Just sometimes. So service hours outside of regular service site. There may be times in which you provide service site outside of it. We went over that. Children's Museum is one that we always do. This Saturday actually will be our first service day. You all will see that on your calendar, where we have some people in the running. We're going to take a vote and pick them, but where you will be off-site doing the service day. So this will be your first time doing service. That'll be this Saturday, FYI. Never provide service hours outside of your regular schedule and site on your own initiative without first making sure that those hours will be accepted by the program director. So don't just say, oh yes, the tutoring site, I really love them. I'm just gonna go serve 8 hours on Sunday and don't let me know. Because there are certain questions like, what are some of the things that make a site eligible for you to serve? Give me one thing they have to do. Nonprofit, and not just nonprofit, but 501c3, which makes them tax exempt. Because you can't have nonprofits that are not 501c3. You can just go downtown and get you a nonprofit paper. You know? And they must be in line with what we're doing. I mean, we are technology, environment, and math. We do science, we do math, we do technology, we do environment. So those things are really in it. So you're good on that. So anything outside of that, you want to kind of steer away from because it's too much of a stretch. You had your hand up.
Yeah, well, does that include, because I'm signed up with Teamworks out of Hands-On Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a 6-week program and we're like in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Will that service, will I be able to still continue that?
You'll still be able to continue it. You just, depending on what it is, you may not, or you may be able to log hours for us. Ooh, okay. Should never be left to find out your own hours. Oh, so it says never. I never like the word never. I do allow you all to exercise your power in finding your own hours sometimes. It just depends. During spring break, as well as Thanksgiving break and Christmas break, if you know that you have a family vacation that you do every year, yes, you probably should find your own site to let me know what it is, and you probably need to serve on like the Thanksgiving break away from the hours that we serve. There may be times where you're absent. There may be times if you get sick or something like that, that you have to serve and make up hours. We do have 2 sites that are always available for you to go, but if you are, say you stay stupid far, and you have someone in walking distance that does the same things that our service sites do, then yes, you may serve at those sites as long as you have the paperwork to verify that that site does correlate with our guidelines. So make sure you find out about these, which we will go over: absences, sick days, personal days, things of that nature. Children and guests, we do encourage you to bring your child or children and guests to service days that are appropriate. So some service days they are not. I suggest if we ever doing anything like gardening with True Living Well or things of that nature, you probably don't. It'll be cute, you know, but they get tired and we have to move mulch and, you know, do a lot of, and they're like, I'm over it, and then, you know, it's just all go down. No, so just not that. But there are some days like Children's Museum, you know, that you can bring your siblings or your child, nephews. I've had that happen where they can participate. But we ask you to have someone to bring them, and so that they can participate actually while you're serving. We do have some people that are in the Armed Forces or Reserve. You do have the right to serve your mandated hours with them. But we will give you basically this slide so you can kind of go through, but I suggest that you look up the information behind Armed Service, your guidelines with AmeriCorps, so that you can be clear on what your expectations are. And just for the sake of time, we won't go through that. You can serve jury duty. Make sure that you bring a copy of your jury duty summons so that you can be excused. It won't count as one of your unexcused absences. And no, don't be going in there talking about, oh, AmeriCorps people, we don't have to serve. Yes, you do. So go on to jury duty. You see how the man look? Isn't that the picture of when you go to jury duty? Like, oh, I got jury duty. That's what you see. This is why. Imagery. Okay, never mind. I was about to go to soapbox. All right, imagery. You are encouraged to register and vote. Like I said, please do not go to the ballots with your AmeriCorps shirt on, please. And don't get caught in media with your AmeriCorps shirt on talking about who you are wanting to vote for or something like that. That will be considered lobbying. You cannot lobby. You must wear a shirt that has the logo on it. It will say Georgia. Thanks, Kansas, for this. A sign with the AmeriCorps logo has to be at the site, which it will be, as well as a Crim Center banner. And the logo must be displayed on the website of every host site, which we will do. Just know that you have to make sure people know that you are from AmeriCorps. So AmeriCorps publicity, you will get opportunities throughout the year to be on television. Our last opportunity was a couple of weeks ago on PBS, Raina, was it? GPB or?
Oh, Georgia Public Broadcasting.
GPB had
GBPS, Georgia
yeah, that
Public, GPBS, Georgia Public Broadcasting System.
That's it. So they asked for us to send someone out. We sent one of our alums out. He went and did an interview. So you do have opportunities for that. So if you know that you want to do something like that, then definitely let us know. But don't be all mad when I call you up, especially if you have a great, great story. I'm probably going to ask you to do it. Last year we were honored at our annual service conference, which is pretty huge, Points of Light conference. And one of our AmeriCorps members was actually asked to speak on one of the panels, and she just talked about her service. So we do great, great stories. We do promote them, which means I send them up to the national, and they see us a lot. And we have a Twitter page that we use throughout the year. A lot of times they retweet us. So we do like to be in the public eye on what we are doing, especially since there's so many different sites. So your AmeriCorps gear, this is kind of how it looks. It doesn't really show it from the front, but you all will see it on some of the other pictures. Well, how can you tell that this person is an AmeriCorps member and not an employee of the host site? The logo on the shirt. So you have to, and if you notice, I wanted to show this one because it shows if it is going into the fall, that's when you'll be serving in the wintertime. Please do not wear a jacket or a sweatshirt over your clothes all day. Try to do layers so that you still can see the AmeriCorps shirt. Now when we do service days outside and it's like freezing, I hope you don't do service days outside when it's freezing, but if we do, then of course you all can wear it. We do encourage you to get the patches and making sure, you know, I had one member, she had a cardigan made and all these different things. Go for it. We can only give you a t-shirt and 2 polos. That's all we can afford. So you can get your cardigans or sweaters or whatnot, but just make sure you can go on to anyone that sells the products. You can just Google AmeriCorps products, and they have them. Different sites have them cheaper. You can get sweatshirts, you can get bottles, or all these different things that you can do. Unlike Jumpstart, we're not balling out of control. They get all type of stuff. That was a hater move. I'm sorry. I did kind of throw shade. You can tell these shade on. No shade, no shade. So the AmeriCorps gear, I kind of went through that. You can, if you do not wear the shirt, we try to keep it one day out the week where you can wear your clothes. You don't have to wear the blue shirt. The probably will shrink after about 10,000 washes. But please make sure you wear a pin, which we will give you. Wear the pin that's visible so that they can still know that you're AmeriCorps. And for those of you who are going into the high schools, yeah, you all still look like you're high school. Make sure that you all try to dress in an authoritative manner. That's just a suggestion. I'm not telling you to, but I suggest that you do. And for my ladies, just be sure, you know, if you go by the mirror, you be like, ooh, they're going to do that too. So go back in the room and put some on where they don't say, ooh. So yeah, look nice, but I'm not saying look bad. I don't know how to say it, but I'm just warning you. The high school babies at like 14 is going to be like, hey, what's your little girl? You know? Yes, that's them. They're so cute. No, I just have to go. And then they're like, oh, okay, you must be a, yeah. So just make sure you wear your pins, and if your site has policies, please abide by those policies too. Please don't go in there and say, my supervisor, my director told me that I can. No, you have to wear what they say plus our AmeriCorps shirt. So if they want you to wear khakis, I'm sorry, no, just wear the khakis. And And if they don't want you to wear jeans, then don't wear jeans. And also vice versa. If they wear jeans a lot, then yes, you are able to wear jeans. But you don't have to feel, you know, I had one who never liked to wear jeans. She was like, that's not professional. I was like, yeah, I agree. So she didn't wear jeans, and that's fine. All right, so we know the benefit of everyone knowing that you're serving nationally, and that's mainly because they need to know how much AmeriCorps is actually investing into America as far as service go. So member evaluations, you will be evaluated at least twice. Most likely it's going to be way more than that. It won't be formal, but we try to just keep up with you. We definitely want you to give us feedback. We want you to be honest about your site. And one of the most important things is you to let us know what type of training you need. So if you get in there and you're with your site, and say you're with Steam Truck. Steam Truck is very robotics, very technical. If you're not catching on, they tell you that, you know, you'll catch on fairly quickly, but I know that sometimes that doesn't mean that. Be a STEM person, it's like, oh, it's easy, and it's like, I got 50 things to put together in 2 minutes. So if you need the training, though, let us know so that we can communicate with the site so that they can organize more trainings for you so that you can get more acclimated. If you are in, say, one of our high schools have a big math initiative going on. If they have this program, you don't quite understand what their expectations are, how do you supposed to assess, things of that nature, let us know. Definitely let Ms. Turner know when she comes in so that she can let me know so that I can communicate with the site so we can get some trainings going on. Never feel like you're just been placed there and you're supposed to just know by osmosis. Never feel that, even if they act like you do. Don't feel that way. Just let us know and we'll try to solve the problem. So we do have performance measures and a demographic that we only supposed to work with. Our demographic is urban schools, which means it's a certain percentage of students there who are eligible for free or reduced lunch. As well, we look for sites that actually have low achievement in science and math. And those are the only ones that we pretty much work with. Our performance measure, who remembers our performance measures from the interview? Anybody? Anybody? Well, what are the two things that...
You said something about test scores, right?
Yes. You said something about test scores. Yes. So test scores are the one thing that we look at. And then it's another thing that we are mandated to do.
The Myers-Briggs test?
Say it again.
The Myers-Briggs test? Personality test?
We look at test scores and we look at, it's two things we look at the end of the year for outcomes.
Oh, what they learn?
Yes, that's the outcomes for academic achievement. Then it's another thing that we do throughout the year. We raise test scores and we
recruit 2 to 3 people.
That's what you gotta do to the students. Be like, oh, maybe I can teach this. Okay. So we have to raise test scores by at least 10%. We always go above and beyond that. At least 10% in science and or math scores on pre and post testing, however that looks. Data for the student achievement and your volunteer recruitment. That's Ms. Mason's area. We had to break this thing up. So she is our data manager. And I'm kind of steering away from the slide. She's our data manager, so anything that is data, you would kind of go to her about. And data, your weekly updates every week is considered your data too. Your test scores and things of that nature is considered your data. And your volunteer recruitment is considered your data. For Ms. Turner, who just walked in, she is the one who does site visits, attendance. So if you need to be out, going by our policy, you would contact her, CC me. You would contact her, let her know that you'll be tardy or absent. She will also be the one who you turn in your hour makeup form to, because whatever hours you miss, you do have to make them up. I also didn't mention for the data manager, Ms. Mason, she will be the one that updates you on how many hours you have as well. And you all will be able to see that in the Encore system. It's a button that you can click that shows you where you are with your hours. So with Ms. Turner, she's doing the attendance, your site visits. That's who you would express your needs as far as your trainings go. She will be the one who is in contact with your site supervisor. If you are having an issue at your site, the first person you should go to is Ms. Turner. And she's going to try to filter it a bit. If that bad boy is just too muddy to filter, then it trickles over to me. And I have a big filter. You get it, go in. Okay. So she'll be the one that you go to on that. Did I miss anything, Ms. Turner? Attendance, site visits, training.
No, you don't.
We all will address calendar. So if you have a site that you would like for us to serve at, or if you want to plan a service day, say your site, you know, you think your students will benefit highly from a college tour, I don't know, then you will come to any of us and kind of talk about it, and we can see how we can organize it. There is the case where even though you may be at your site, you may be the only one, we can have the whole Corps come and support you on a service day. We just have to know well in advance, and then we have to kind of let you all sites know about that service day. How often will there be team gatherings and events to build camaraderie? We do have a team building day that's on your calendar monthly. And Ms. Mason, what day is that?
That's every fourth Friday.
Every fourth Friday at, we are partnered with a bar down here called
It's every month. It's every other month.
Every other month.
Yeah.
And the bar is called Sidebar?
Sidebar.
Okay, Sidebar. We're not encouraging you to drink, so don't look at me like that. I'm just encouraging camaraderie, so if you don't drink, it's fine. We're not saying you have to go and drink. But I'll be there for a little while, then I'll leave you to your camaraderie thing, so don't feel like, you know, I'm gonna be like, well, so what you doing? No, I won't do that. So we encourage you to do that. It's not required. We just encourage you to do it. We're partnering with them anyway, so we already let them know to expect you all. But throughout the years, the AmeriCorps members kind of come together. You all start to get to know each other. When you have birthday parties, share them with each other, stuff like that. So we do encourage you all to do it on your own. We will have 2 retreats throughout the year. Usually it's something, we try to make it something pretty exciting. Hiking, whitewater rafting, zip lining, stuff like that. So we'll let you know what those are, and we'll definitely make sure that you're comfortable with whatever we're planning. For those who are afraid of heights. We won't make you zip line. I'm gonna fire you if you don't get on that set. Get on there now. No. So part of being an AmeriCorps member also is member development. So we do want to impact you as well. You're not just here just to impact others. We bring in speakers a lot that have worked nationwide in education or in some type of inspirational activities. We also try to get networking opportunities, get those out to you. So just check out your emails. If we send something to you, this is something we think probably meet some type of expectation you have, or if you've expressed that you're interested in this area or that area, we'll send out those invites that we get to you. And so feel free to take advantage of those. Closer to the latter part of the year, we will begin to we will begin to look at your resumes, your LinkedIn page, your Facebook page, just to make sure that they're hire friendly or network friendly, which Ms. Turner is an expert in professionalism, like literally. And so we'll make sure that you're ready to go off and spread your wings and fly once you leave us, or you can come back and build more experience. First and foremost, we make sure you understand the basics, so we're going to go through all of that so you won't feel any concern. And definitely, if you don't understand, just ask. And then if you forget, ask. Or look it up, because AmeriCorps is all over the web. Just make sure when you do look it up, type Georgia AmeriCorps, not Kansas. My bad. But for the most part, they're the same, but there are certain stipulations that Georgia have that Kansas may not have. So you definitely want to look it up. And although I probably will love you all by then, I don't love you yet, but I probably will love you all. Don't ask each other, okay? Because perceptions are everything. Correct. What I read was, no, ask Ms. Turner or myself if you have any questions about the contract. So you won't be going off of perception. All right, so keep the rules and procedures handy. We will provide you a 3-ring binder where you will be able to keep your contract, you will be able to keep your handbook, so you can refer to that. You'll also be able to keep your timesheets and all that in, and full-time members as well as part-time members are required to bring it to your training every time you come, because most likely you'll be getting things that we want you to keep up with. Sorry, please go. All right, so membership development, these are possible topics, and we ask you to give us topics, as unique as they may be. Give us topics about personal development. If you just want to know, how do I navigate the politics of Atlanta? We could do a training on how to navigate the politics of Atlanta. We could bring some people in that could really tell you how to navigate the politics of Atlanta. You want to know, how do I start a nonprofit in Georgia? We could do a whole presentation on that. So be specific about your personal development. Is what you make it. We're here for you. We have a vast amount of knowledge amongst each other, amongst the CRIM Center. Our network is ridiculously large, so we have access. But you just have to let us know, because understand, for the most part, what we're probably focused on is team. So and education, and kind of like the things that are connected to it, STEM, this and that. But if you ask us, we probably can get you some information or have someone to come in and tell you about it. We focus on life after AmeriCorps, and we want you to just keep track of what you're doing, and we do have the mechanism for that, which is your great stories. That's a way that you can kind of build your portfolio. So that's an easy way for you to go ahead and print off stories, take some pictures to it, and create you a portfolio for your future endeavors. So you are required to do that once a month. We'll go over that a little bit later, but that is a way that you can kind of build your portfolio and keep track. That's kind of like your journal. That's once a month. Some people keep a personal journal throughout the entire year. If you already know what you want to do, definitely let us know. Even if you are not really sure, you know, talk to us. You know, we can kind of connect you to different people. So, or us, you know, to get that kind of on the way. We seek to access your current skills. Does not have to be math and science. If you have any skills in any other area, that would be wonderful. We definitely have thought about doing a series where you all can do presentations on your own expertise. So if you're definitely interested in doing something like that, please feel free to let us know. And Ms. Turner will, at the end of the year, begin to show you how to translate your service into job speak, which means, no, don't just put, I volunteered. You have to pull out that language, boy. I developed a strategic plan for, blah, 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 you know. But that'll get you the jobs and opportunity. Okay. So we want you to think about, as far as your goals go, we want you to think about what are your service-related goals. So we have our own outcomes, but we want you to have your outcomes too. So if there's this student that you know is kind of too quiet in class, you know he struggles with his homework, don't really say anything, his notebook is always just horrible, he never brings his stuff to school, all these different things, that may become your baby for the year. You know, you may go in and let me check your folder. Baby, why is this folder looking like this? What is, I don't have no, and my dog ate it. And, you know, just talk them through, and feel free to buy him some binders or whatever those things are. That may be a goal for you. Or you may be like, you know what, I'm going to get these 5 young men. Say you're at Towers High School, which have a math initiative. I'm going to get these 5 group of men to pass their ELCT this year. This is the 5 that I'm going to focus on. And they will pass this ELCT. And you go hard. You find resources. You find ways that they can practice on the weekends. You develop your own tutoring program throughout the week. You have the liberty to do that. And you can do that. And that impact is unbelievable. We had Banneker High School one year where they were doing a transitioning between the standardized tests. They went from one standardized test to the other. Well, it was this bubble group that just did not pass that old one. Well, now they couldn't take the new one because they were still kind of like, right, it was just a weird situation. But that bubble, that amount of students, it was like 27 students, they could not pass the test. So our members, we had 4 members there that year, they created this tutoring program. They bought pizza, they encouraged them to come. The kids, they kind of gave up. They were like, you know what, forget it. We'll get our, a lot of them were like, we'll get our GED, or no worries, you know, my uncle got a job, you know, these different things. Well, they took those 27 students on, and 24 out of 27 passed the test. And that's because every single day they tutored, On the weekend, you would find them at Starbucks. It was just super dope on the way they took them on. But that's like a service-related goal that you can make on your own. They told me about it. I approved it. They were on with it. It's not something I had to kind of stand over them with it. Also, your educational goals, what you would like to learn, your professional goals, and aspiration of becoming a better person. So we took a personality test at the beginning. All of you are required to. We're going to take the personality test again just to see how you evolve throughout the program. And it's always good for you to self-reflect. You know, as an educator, it's never the child's fault. It's never the parent's fault. It's never the school's fault. Always look at it as your fault. That's what I tell teachers. And I'm a developer of master teachers. Don't get caught up in the hype. You know, poor children can't learn. You know, ratchet children can't learn. You know, children who mama come in with house shoes can't learn. No, that's a hype. They actually can learn. And many of them are brilliant and people don't see them. And they just like for people to come in and see them as them and not as their circumstances. And even the ones who come from wealthy families, they want them to see people as them and not where they come from. Because you have people with buku money who hardly can read, or whose parents don't spend a lot of time with them, or who have social emotional problems. So money does not mean anything. Area does not mean anything. It brings its different components that you have to deal with. You might find a little bratty kid who used to get all what he wants, or you might find a child who don't know how to receive help, who might think you're there for something, or you know you're judging them. So, but you just have to get to know that student and go from there. So always self-reflect. Make yourself a better person every day for that child and for you. So our National Service Days, and this means I'm getting to the end. National Service Days, we have 3 that are mandated, point blank period. There may be more, but 3 definitely. Martin Luther King Day, which all of these are in the spring. Global Youth Service Day, and 1 day out of AmeriCorps Week. So part-timers would do their day, full-timers would do their day. And that's usually a day where we recruit members for the following year, or we do some type of service day on that weekend. And all AmeriCorps programs are required to observe it. So raise your hand if you're full-time in here. Oh, part-timers, y'all showed up for pre-service. I like that. Great. And how many are part-time, which they call half-time, part-time? And we don't have any minimum time. Okay, we have a little equilibrium today. Thank you, thank you. All right, so full-time, and I'll try to keep it short. Full-timers, you are here 1,700 hours. You are eligible for insurance. It does have a cost connected to it. You don't have to take it. You just have to sign a waiver, let us know you do not want it, and you have to kind of let us know what insurance that you do have, that you plan on having, or disclose that you'd rather not disclose. But you have to let us know whether you want it or not. And we really don't know the coverage price until we get it, and you know, we enroll, and then you'll see usually it's between $17 and $25 per month, which is that's pretty much like an emergency insurance. It's not a lot of benefits to it, but it does cover you for like emergencies. You are eligible, part-time and full-timers are eligible for loan forbearance, and that where your interest does not accrue. Of course, all of you all get Ed Award, member development. So the STAR, beside the workers' compensation coverage, liability coverage, not an actual benefit, but one or other is required. So you definitely still need to note your days that you were absent, tardy, things of that nature on your timesheet. There will be a sign-in sheet at your site where you need to sign in and out every single day. Please do not forget, because that is a way that Ms. Mason keeps up with your time. And it's just proper for when the commission comes in, they have something to verify your hours. We don't want to ever be caught without a verification. Some people are eligible for food stamps. Just depends on where you are as far as the mandated, or not mandated, but technical poverty level. And you may be eligible for, we have had members who have gotten them as they are serving. That comes to show you how low that stipend is. We love you though. All right, so the less than full-time members, you don't receive health care or child benefits. We will give you an overview of insurance. and I'll just give brief, I just went over that a bit. We'll let you know once you ask for the insurance, what the insurance, who the insurance would be through and how much that will be. And the child care, as I stated earlier, you have to kind of go through that process on your own. So the Ed Award, it pays for your current cost of attendance to schools, or you can repay your student loans. And you can find a plethora of information that's online, but these are kind of the things that it covers, just so you know. Just check with your financial aid office if you have questions, because actually some financial aid, some schools match your Ed Award. And you may want to find those schools too, those who are looking for grad schools, those who match the Ed Awards. So these are the qualified loans that it can go to after you finish. This just addresses your consolidation. You are still eligible even though you're in an Ed Award. And you must successfully complete your service. What does that mean based on all of our discussion? What does it mean to successfully complete your service?
Complete the 10 months.
Complete the 10 months, that's one.
Complete the hours.
Complete the hours, that's two.
Actively serving.
Actively and satisfactorily serving. That's how you get your Ed Award, those three. And you can't cash out. Sorry. It goes directly to the school or the loan holder. Paragraphs. All right, so here's kind of the explanation of your terms. We should be done fairly soon. Sorry to bore you to tears. You get 2 full-time Ed Awards, or you can get 4, and you can work up to 4 terms for AmeriCorps. You will be accessing this through the service trust, and that's at the end of your service. After you have totally exited, meaning you have exited just like you enrolled, you exit online after your 10 months, within 14 days, that's when you can begin to access your Ed Award. Let's kind of go over it. You got up to 7 years to use it. And trust me, they will let you know, they'll remind you. Just make sure whatever email address that you check, please use that for everything that we do with you and AmeriCorps. Because a lot of times, a lot of their reminders come to your emails, and we definitely communicate via email more than we communicate with anything. So the awards are taxable, of course. And the living allowance is taxable, the interest payments are taxable, no deductions made, Ed Award interest payments. The trust does not deduct taxes from the Ed Awards or interest payments, meaning you just have to remember that you have to file that. Please get with your tax people, whoever you do your taxes through, let them know that you received an Ed Award, and they will let you know what you need to complete. And as I stated earlier, there are universities that match the funds that the Ed Award give. So you can find those online. You can just Google who matches Ed Awards or AmeriCorps match.